Hi, it's Jon Cronshaw here with my author diary for the week ending September the 17th, 2023. I've had most of this week off. I've not been feeling too great. I don't know if I'm coming down with something. I don't know if I'm just tired. I don't know. So the last couple of days I've just not done any work. The work I have been doing has just been setting up a blog. So a few years ago I did a project called Author Mastermind, which is basically to help indie authors to kind of make a sustained career from writing. And it didn't go anywhere. I did lots of stuff for it, but it was, I think it was just helped with burnout, basically. So what I've done is I've actually repurposed a lot of the stuff, turned it into blog posts, because last time it was all videos, podcasts, it was doing shorts for Instagram and TikTok, loads of stuff. This time it's just a blog. It's on Substack. I've used the old domain name, which is indieauthormastermind.com, so it does reroute to the Substack page. So yeah, it's basically just going to be a blog now that will help indie authors. Some of the posts will be paid, which are going to be kind of deep dives into stuff about being a writer, being a professional writer, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's loads of stuff on there that's free, loads of stuff that I think that is helpful. A lot of the things that I wish I'd been told when I started this interesting career. So that's what I've been doing. I did that for a couple of days this week, just basically repurposing the content. Turns out I've got like 6 months worth of posts for the Substack, and that's doing 2 posts a week. So, when you've got intellectual property, whether it's videos, music, art, anything like that, you can repurpose it, you can reuse it, you can give it a new life a few years later. That is the great thing about producing, stuff that is yours. So that's indieauthormastermind.com anyway, and there will be lots of stuff that is probably about, I don't know, my philosophy on being an indie author, probably different to other people's, but yeah, see what you make of it anyway. Let me know. There are comments and things like that on there. And as I say, most of the posts on there are free. But there is also the thing that of having another potential revenue stream, just to kind of diversify what it is, how I earn my money, if that makes sense. So in terms of reading, I've read basically non-fiction this week. I read, what was it, The Ultimate History of Video Games Volume 2. I think that was by Stephen Kent. And this was basically a follow-up to a book I read earlier this year, might have been end of last year. And it kind of brings it up from the PlayStation 2 and the kind of rise of the Xbox and PS3 and things like that. Right up until, I'd say, it didn't get to the launch of anything like the Switch or anything like that, so I'm sure that'll be in Volume 3 at some point. Also, what was it called? Oh yeah, it was called like Colonialism, A World History. So this was just about the colonialism, the effects of it, the effects of growing empires and colonies and things like that. So really important book, I think, really necessary to read. Obviously, a lot of just terrible stuff happened with colonialism and just the way that still goes on today in various different guises and things like that. My only criticism of the book is this. I did a master's, I did a PhD. I would not have been able to read this book had I not done that. I think that the language was unnecessarily complex. I think that there was too much academic jargon in it, and it's just not for a general audience. And I think it has been released for a general audience. So yeah, there's a lot of words in there, a lot of like unnecessary, like I don't know, just unnecessarily complicated words that can be expressed using simpler words that mean the same thing, but it's to give it that kind of air of, oh, isn't this person academic? But it just shrouds what would have been a really good book. Also, currently reading a book called Sellout, which is, I suppose, about the kind of punk scene through the 90s and 2000s, but specifically looking at how major record labels kind of gutted the punk scene in many ways, and the different bands that were seen as sellouts because of going to major labels, and the kind of, I suppose, the weird kind of tribalism of the American punk scene. And yeah, it's fascinating actually. A lot of bands that are included on there are bands that I grew up listening to and enjoying. I mean, some of them are quite obvious, like Green Day. When I was 13? I can't remember how old am I now. No, when I was 12, I think it was. Yeah, 1994, 12. Green Day's Duke came out, and that was just a massive album. So just finding out about that, and it talks about bands. Like what I've been doing is listening to Spotify. Having a bit of a biography about a band, and then listening and going, oh yeah, they're pretty good actually. So I've Jawbreaker. I think I only knew one of their songs, and yeah, they're really good. And there was a band called Thursday who I'd not heard of before, but it looked like I liked a couple of the songs on Spotify, but I wasn't aware of them, if you know what I mean. So I'd obviously heard a song, liked it. They were doing some interesting stuff, and just being reminded as well of At the Drive-In, because they were a massive band when I think when I was at university. So just kind of listening to them again, they're great. Really just frenetic, just nothing like them. I think the nearest thing you get to them is probably Mars Volta, which is a bit more indulgent than At the Drive-In. But obviously Mars Volta is two of the people out of At the Drive-In. So yeah. Right. Anyway, next week I don't know what I'm going to do. As I say, I don't feel great. I don't know whether it's mental health. I don't know whether it's physical health. I don't know whether, because I feel like I'm either coming down with a virus of some kind, or I've got a virus that's not that bad, but it's just draining me energy wise, or because of the time of year, it might be like the first hints of the seasonal affective stuff. But I don't know why it would be the SAD stuff, just because this past week or so we've had a heat wave, and so I've been getting a lot of sunshine and things like that. So I don't know. I'm just going to play it by ear. Luckily, I have got my Guild of Assassins posts. This Saturday's is already scheduled. Next Saturday's is already scheduled. I mean, I've done a few things this week just to kind of have a bit of a rest. So I didn't send a newsletter this week, and I send a newsletter every week. And I've also what is it? So my Twitter or X, wherever it's called now, that is literally automated, just doing posts from my blog, from my website. So I'm not doing actual posts on Twitter at the moment. I'm just kind of ignoring that, and I'm not going to be posting on my Facebook group or anything like that. Anything where it requires me to engage or comment, I just don't feel like I've got the kind of mental bandwidth at the moment to do that. So yeah, I'm just recharging, whatever. Hopefully I'll be fine. Hopefully it's not burnout or anything like that. I don't think it is, but who knows? We'll see. Anyway, so until next time, cheerio.